Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday night edition of everyone's favorite M-rated podcast. Yes, it's Gaming After Dark. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's Noof Nukem in the room. Introducing, as always, my fabulous panel, starting out with Cerebral Paul. He is in the building and ready to roll. What's up, Paul?
Oh, not much. Just relaxing, playing some games, having some fun. This is my favorite month of the year. Scary movies, scary games, and the good time to have Pong on because his face scares the hell out of me. So,
Oh, I thought you.
I was just gonna say you got a full-time costume. I don't know what's
that's
going
right.
on, Paul.
That's right.
I thought you were gonna say because she started that time in the month that you can get away from her.
No,
But
no.
my bad. I'm sorry.
No.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's just disgusting.
Look at what show we're on, Paul.
Yeah.
There we go. Starting out Gaming After Dark in fine fashion, as always. Catching up with our other panel member, Mr. Sir X-Man is in the building. What's up, sir?
Blah 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 blah. Let's go. Have fun.
Blah, blah, blah. Let's have fun. You don't sound very excited tonight.
Oh no, I'm enthused. I just had to wake up after my little nap. But y'all know me. Once I get going, I get going.
That's all right. And just to let everybody know, Wize Old Gamer may not make it tonight. He had a family gathering and says he may make it or may not. But I'd say all signs indicate he probably will not be here tonight. But that's okay because we have shoes to fill, and there's no better person that can fill podcast shoes than the one, the only, the co-host of Living Split Screen on Saturday mornings with Steel Rain. It's none other than Pong, the superstar Soul.
Too kind, Noof. Hey, first of all, told you behind the scenes, but man, great to have you back in the community. Glad you're back podcasting, sir. And honored with the invite. It has been way too long since I have been on Gaming After Dark, so happy to be here. Great to again be on a podcast with Paul. I haven't podcasted with him what seems like years now, and first time with Sir X-Men, so this is an absolute pleasure to be here. Happy to see everybody in the chat, all the good faces that we always see. So let's get down to business. We've got some great fun topics tonight.
We do.
I ain't nobody special. I just
Speaking of business, I heard the bark, and he is here. As always, you got Doggy Dog 420 coming in hot with the first super chat of the evening, $1.99. So, let's, Mr. Paul, would you care to do the honor?
Oh, you mean I got to look at the screen? Oh, crap.
It says good evening, new panel and chat. Heart, beer, and fist. Thank you.
Okay, no more fisting on this show. That's okay. All right. Thanks.
She likes a fist. What are you talking about?
Oh,
What kind of women are you dating, man?
Monkey punch. Oh, that's donkey punch. Sorry.
Kylo Milo is the first in the building tonight. Kylo, what's up, brother? Good to see you here. Spider-Man 356, the stalwart, always swinging through every podcast. Dreadpool hanging out with us earlier. I hope he's still here. If not, welcome, Dreadpool. Tell us, Ray, what's going on. Toolman 55 is in the building. We got Draven Arrow hanging out with us as well. What's up, Dragon Arrow? Sentinel, good to see you in the chat. It's glad to be here. That's fantastic. We got a great crew. Who else? Oh, the Mag. Yes.
I was going to say, did you not see the Mag sitting there? Wow.
Well, I can imitate him. I can imitate Mag.
Well, we got to.
This is the Mag. Everybody, welcome. I don't take no shit. Let's go.
I thought you were just, the bald-headed thing is the way you were.
Don't start no shit. Won't be no shit.
We got John 907. We got Dead Proof hanging out with us tonight. Good to see you there. Mr. Bushido is here as well. Yeah, we got a good crew. Let's get going and let's get right into the topics. Yes, this one's going to go a little walk down memory lane. It is hard to believe, but it's been 30 years since Mortal Kombat. That's crazy. So big shout out to obviously NetherRealm, Ed Boon, John Tobias, the entire team over there, the creators, the people that, started out with a little dream, a little ambition to make a 2D side-scrolling fighting game that could compete with Street Fighter, which was all the rage back in the days. And in many cases, Mortal Kombat is perhaps as revered, and if some cases maybe even more so than Street Fighter. Depends on which side of the fence you're on. I've always loved Mortal Kombat, and
fatality.
Oh yeah, just they did the stuff that Street Fighter seemed like it was afraid to do. You know, I guess you could always say Mortal Kombat was the more mature or perhaps even immature fighter out there, a little more rated M. So it's a perfect fit for this kind of show. So Mortal Kombat, guys, celebrating 30 years. We're going to kind of go back to the timeline and let's find out with you guys how you felt about different games. First of all, let's just scroll back through the history. I'm going to share a screen with you because it's amazing how many games they've actually had. So I'm going to share a little screen with you here. Just give me a second. I'll pull it up here. And we'll go. Well, I'm going to read them out first, and then we'll kind of go down through here. Just quickly, we're going to start out with obviously the very first one, Mortal Kombat, the game that changed the scene. Obviously, digitized characters on top of 2D sprite-based backgrounds. You can see the screenshot right there in front of me here. I think, as you can see, Sub-Zero versus Goro. How did you guys feel about what was your initial memories of that first Mortal Kombat? Did you play it in the arcades? Did you wait till it came to console? Where does it stand on the upper echelon of fighting games? And before I get to the panel tonight, let's start with Pong Soul on this one. Pong. Stand on the upper echelon of fighting games. Go ahead,
Yes,
my brother.
sir. Okay. I'm sorry. I heard the echo in the background. I apologize. Yeah. So my first time with Mortal Kombat would definitely have been in the arcades. I still remember when it dropped. When my dad would pick me up on the weekends, a lot of times that's what we'd go do is head to the arcade. And so we were there quite a bit. So when Mortal Kombat first came out, it was obviously people gathered around, like you had to wait in line, you had to have your quarters ready. And of course, there was already people there that were sweaty, knew all the moves, and you'd show up and roll up, and some dude would wipe the floor with your ass, right? So that's what my first memory of Mortal Kombat was. But it was so different from everything else that we had seen up to that point. The violence, just the character models themselves, the way they moved on the screen, how reactionary it was. It was a big difference from everything else that we had had. And so that's why, I mean, it took over and everybody was talking about Mortal Kombat. I still remember it like yesterday, Noof. Of course, I was, it came out, 92? I think it was.
I think so. Yes, correct.
Yeah. So I was already 17. So, I was in it. Right. And so that was definitely a big deal. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Nice. Yeah, that's going back a ways, man. And it was certainly a quarter chomping beast in the arcade. It was one of those games you just had to stop and look at when you passed by. It's like, wow, what is this cool looking game? You remember the graphics on the side of the cabinet as well with Johnny Cage and different things. And of course, that
you heard it too, because they had a bass kicker in the box. So you heard it when you hit somebody. You heard the bass coming out the back of it, dude. Man, vicious.
And we can't downplay even the symbol itself, the Mortal Kombat symbol that they designed, Ed Boon and his team designed, just became so iconic instantaneously. Like you'd see that symbol somewhere, and you instantly know Mortal Kombat. That was the crazy part. It became a phenomenon. It was
that and the music.
Yep. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And combat spelled with a K, another little sort of touch, if you want to call it that. There have been a lot of imitators out there, but none have really quite come to the same level of success and left an impression on us the way this did. How about you, Mr. Cerebral Paul? Any fond memories of the original game? Do you remember when you first played it or heard about it? What's your takeaway?
I hate it when you guys do that. Any fond memories? I don't remember yesterday, let alone 30 years ago. No,
they got pills for that now.
No, not your little blue pills. Keep those to yourself. No, actually, I do remember. I think I first played it in the arcade because they had arcade stick. Because even back then, for me to do some of the specials and Sub-Zero and what's his name?
Scorpion?
No, Scorpion. Because of their controls were the simplest. Those were the two characters I could do the best as far as, the whole get over here and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So those were the characters I played the most. And yeah, I really enjoyed the game. I mean, I do remember, and I never was really into Street Fighter and stuff. I mean, it was cool. It was all right. But this had a different kind of look to it. almost looked more not 3D or real, but you know what I
Right.
mean. Even on the screen, you can see that it doesn't look as cartoony as say Street Fighter did, or any of those other ones that came out about that time. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I do remember playing a lot even once it came to the consoles. I played it a lot as well. Just without a fighting stick, it's a little bit harder for me.
Mm-hmm.
And let me get something out of the way, by the way. Hey, Joe Dunmore, welcome. Haven't been able
I'm
to do
glad
that
you
for
get
months.
that.
I haven't been able
Yes,
to do
I'm
that
glad,
for months. So
I'm
you know,
glad you noticed him in the chat. I was going to mention to you that you have
yeah,
that special introduction,
yeah,
which Mag used to do very, very well, but unfortunately, Mag is a guest and not a panel
yeah.
member. But door's
Joe
always open.
Dunmore. There we go.
That's it. There it is. Yeah, just,
We
it's
do it
been a
on
while
living
since
split
I've
screen
done it.
for him.
Yeah, it's been a while.
That was
since
a pretty good. That was a pretty good imitation of Mag on that one.
Because
yeah,
we
right
do it on
there,
living
yeah.
split screen when Joe shows up. So
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Everybody
it's
said,
been a
"What's
while
this?"
since
Oh,
I've
he
done
gets
it or
special
heard it. Yeah.
treatment. That's great, guys. Sir X Man, how about you, man? You obviously, based on what you just told me, have fond memories of this game and walking around those arcade cabinets and the sounds.
Yeah, I was like 25 when that game came out, somewhere around there. So I was dropping a lot of quarters because I had a job. So, you know, I played it in all the, back then we had arcades. So it was not a hesitation to play that game all the time. Got pretty good at it, except the part where it says test your mic. I'm like, I hated them damn things. Because they would hurt your hands because you're too busy trying to slam it on the damn button. And you be like, ow.
Oh,
Trying to do it. Remember that?
yeah. Can anybody do that one that Doggy Dog just put up on the screen? Can anybody even press that?
Toasty. But yeah, to me that took me away. I just got one thing to say. Did you have the green or the red blood?
All right. So when you played it at home, was it on the Genesis or the Super Nintendo?
Yeah,
Genesis,
console had
baby.
I remember I played it mostly at the arcade. I had the red blood, of course. Then when it was a console, what did we have? One of the versions had no blood, which was really kind of fucking annoying. But
That was Nintendo.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, the original is awesome, dude. And learning those fatalities, it was complicated, but it wasn't as complicated as it is today.
No, that's what I was saying. You know, the two easiest fatalities at the time were Sub-Zero and again, what's his name?
I was a Liu Kang guy.
See, and I just couldn't do
them in Liu Kang.
Yeah,
I was a Raiden guy.
Raiden was my number 3. I really like using him.
Oh, I love Raiden too.
The original game had 8 characters. I mean, very small by today's standards. So let me ask you this, and I'll just say that, yeah, for me, what drew me into Mortal Kombat was the fact that it was trying to almost be the same as Street Fighter, but yet entirely different in many ways. And I think that was largely due to the art design. I mean, obviously being one of the very first, if not the first that I can recall using sort of a digitized real life actor in a game. That just made it like Paul said, you look outside of the backgrounds. Even today, the characters still look really awesome, because again, essentially they're real. They're just digitized in, and of course that got better over the years as they moved to different engines and used different hardware. But I mean, I think that was what drew me in. Of course, ninjas are really cool. You had this, like I said, the four-armed girl. He was just crazy, and Shao Kahn and not Shao Kahn. He wasn't in that one. Sorry, Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung was the final boss. Shang Tsung. Yeah.
But and of course some attractive ladies in there as well, like Katana and
Sonya.
Absolutely.
Blade.
Yep.
Sonya. Yeah, so many iconic characters, and we'll talk about that in a second. So what would you say made Mortal Kombat stand out? Because if you asked me which one played better at the time, I would have to give it an edge to Street Fighter. Street Fighter just felt a little tighter to me overall, but Mortal Kombat just felt a little bit off. It got better, but the first game just didn't feel quite as good, but it looked amazing. So how do you guys feel about that? What do you think really made Mortal Kombat special? And and which game did you prefer, Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat?
More than Street Fighter for me.
I gotta say, for me, it was the fatalities, man. I don't care about the playability because I suck at all those games. I enjoyed watching the fighting and the fatalities of Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Joseph's Pit Fighter might have been first, but didn't Pit Fighter come out after Mortal Kombat?
Good question.
I'm trying to remember.
Close.
I think it did. It came out very, very close too, and it just never looked near as cool as Mortal Kombat.
No,
everybody
Kombat,
tried to emulate it.
Yeah, that's exactly correct, sir. I mean, Mortal Kombat just changed everything how we thought about fighting games. Like you said, Noof, with the digitized, realistic type graphics that we really hadn't seen outside of Sega CD games, right, where they were movies, right? But to have it in a video game that you were actually controlling the characters and that kind of stuff, it just really set it apart from the Street Fighters at that time. And again, there was people forget how big fighting games were. There was a bunch of, Fatal Furies and those types of games around.
Killer Instinct came out with that style, almost that style of, almost that look. And that we know it was claymation, but.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. But then after Mortal Kombat came out, then these others fell in line because we had a bunch of animation style fighting games up to that point. So I really think it was more the realistic style. And then obviously you throw in the blood, you throw in the violence. We didn't get
right.
Nowadays it's normal, but back then it wasn't normal. People got to remember, this is around the time when the ratings board came out and started.
I was just about to tell you this. This was the first video game that made the governments of all countries get pissed off.
Right, correct. Right. We had gone through it with music, right, Sir X-Men? We had gone through it with music, and then video games were still in the clear until Mortal Kombat. Yeah, and then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, what are we showing our kids here? So, that's
rip
really
one
what
guy's
stood out.
spine out and they get all pissy. Jesus.
I know, right? I know, a little decapitation. What the heck? You see more than that in a horror movie. Come on now.
Well, not back then. You didn't really, but
oh yeah. There were some horror movies out there, dude. They were way worse. Well, no, but
they weren't. The Mortal Kombat came out what year? You said 30 years ago.
About 1992.
So that was pretty early in the really grossed out factors of movies.
Oh no, Halloween? Are you kidding?
Yeah. No, Halloween wasn't that bad. If you really look at Halloween, it wasn't that bad at all.
Just like if you look back now, the original Mortal Kombat is not really bad at all in the same comparisons.
Yeah, but in 1982, video games were also still largely viewed as kids' toys, and this was the first time that games really took on, again, and it's largely due to their art style, that sense of realism. And it wasn't just you punching people in the face. When the fatalities happen and you're ripping guys' spines out, that definitely seemed quite a stretch from the 8-bit era that we had grown accustomed to, where you had little fat sprites running across the screen at the best of times. This took it to a whole new level, and in itself, the marketing was. Because of this, that marketing kind of drove Mortal Kombat to become a juggernaut in itself, a cultural phenomenon that it's turned into today. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. And the hit into the pit from that game, that's classic. With the spikes at the bottom, that's classic. And that was the one they would always show at these little Congress things and whatever to show how gory the game was back in the day. The pit drop. I was like, really? That's all y'all can do? There's a lot more gorier stuff than that.
And people forget too how much it pushed to the consoles too when they finally launched in '93. I'll never forget September 13th, 1993. It was Mortal Monday. I was working at Funkoland.
Oh, I had it day one.
Yeah, I was working at Funkoland, so we got the overnight boxes, and we got so many cases, both Genesis and Super Nintendo. But back then, again, this was just when video games were really starting to come into their own, when Genesis and Nintendo were at the height And
and they charge $80 for this game too.
Yeah, and more adults were playing. More adults were playing video games than ever before.
Because we were growing up.
We started getting that rush. But when Mortal Kombat hit the consoles, my God, that launch day was absolutely insane. I still remember people coming in and me converting them from Super Nintendo to Sega Genesis as soon as I told them, well, if you get the Super Nintendo, you get sweat. If you get the Genesis, you get blood. Like how many?
That sold so many consoles, dude. It was ridiculous. And Nintendo and Sega advertised that too. You want real blood?
Absolutely.
Sega Genesis. Then Nintendo converted to blood later. That was funny.
So we're going to move down the list here a little bit here, guys, just to not drag this topic out a little too long. So obviously, this in my opinion is the pinnacle. Though this is where Mortal Kombat went from that first introductory game to when you talk about sequels and sequels that look better, play better, and are better in every single aspect than its predecessor. Can you think of ones that are almost as much as iconic as this game? Everything about Mortal Kombat. 3 was amazing too, but I think. Yeah, but was 3 like that big? Like was 3 as much?
Yeah, you had the moving backgrounds and everything in 3, and you could knock people in the trains, but do a lot more nastier fatalities, man. The move set was so much better, man. And you had my boy Stryker. Yeah,
that's true. He had a lot more characters. Yeah, no doubt. We're gonna get to Mortal Kombat 3, but guys, how did you feel about number 2? Was that kind of the game that had you sold on Mortal Kombat by this time? Pong?
Oh yeah, day one.
Absolutely, of course. Yeah, no, Mortal Kombat 2 was it. And this, I don't know if we're gonna break it down later as far as favorites go, but Mortal Kombat 2 was it. Mortal Kombat 2 was the one. But like you said, Noof, the jump. I mean, yes, nowadays, 10, 11. Absolutely ridiculous, like just from a tech standpoint, how far they've come. But for me, the nostalgia guy, the guy who was there from the beginning, number 2 was that leap, and again, the epic battles that me and my friends had at home on the consoles. That's just one of those memories that you never forget. And Mortal Kombat was such a big part of that time frame, for sure.
Yeah, and that's the one where you could first started using the Game Genie. And have one button fatalities.
Yeah, that's right, Game Genie. And they went from what, 8 to 12 or 8 to 4? How many did they have in number 2? I forget.
14, I think.
14, yeah. So that was a huge leap too. Just the variety and loved number 2. Loved it.
Let me Google it real quick.
It all blends for me. I couldn't tell you the difference between 1, 2, 3, 12. I really don't.
How many characters were in Mortal Kombat 2?
Play the game.
12 playable characters.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia, the game includes 12 playable characters.
Yeah, because
it had 12 playable characters.
They had Katana.
I thought I muted it. That damn mic's on the goddamn camera. Son of a bitch.
Well, yeah, according to this, Mortal Kombat 2 introduced Katana, Kung Lao, Mileena, and Noob Sabat.
Yep.
Right? So
yeah, then you unlock somebody. I think that was the introduction of not Noob Sabat, but what was his name? God dang, what was his name?
And for those of you unacquainted and didn't know this fact, which I'm sure most of you did, Noob Sabat was actually the last names of the creators backwards. Hence Ed Boon and John Tobias.
Wow, not even I knew that.
There you go. Well, now you learn something new about Mortal Kombat.
You're so smart, Noob.
So let's scroll down.
You're so Google Noob. Yeah,
I remember that from way back in the day. All right, so we're gonna scroll a little bit faster now. Here we go. So we're gonna go down to the titles. Mortal Kombat 3. There's 22 Mortal Kombats in total. Yes, Mortal Kombat 3. Then there was Ultimate Mortal Kombat.
That's my baby right there. That had so many characters, man.
They introduced the characters of Ermac and Rain. Then we had Mortal Kombat Trilogy. So bringing all the games together with improved aspects of it as well.
Right.
Then we got to Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. That game I don't think I've ever played.
That.
Mortal Kombat 4.
It was like That was like a story mode for Sub-Zero. It was pretty good, man.
And look at the transition to the old N64 flat textured graphics. Look at that, guys. We're heading into the 3D realm right there. So this is kind of when in a section where Mortal Kombat started to fall off just a little bit. You know, the gamescape was changing. Fighting games were no longer the big draw as they were prior to up to Mortal Kombat 3, and it started to kind of go downhill. Then we have Mortal Kombat Gold.
I had that. I love that game. I don't care what people say. That was Dreamcast too. I got it on my Dreamcast.
Mortal Kombat Special Forces, Mortal Kombat Advance. We've had Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance.
I haven't heard of most of these. Seriously.
Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition.
When you get to Armageddon, you're talking about one of the greatest classic Mortal Kombats ever.
Mortal Kombat Deception.
That was good.
We had Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, which actually was a game that was actually more of an action beat 'em up as opposed to a side-scrolling fighter, and a lot of people actually like that game. You get to play as Liu Kang and Kung Lao.
Y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Armageddon.
Oh yeah, that man. You could customize your characters in that one. Make specials. You can go online. That was the first one that had that guy with that damn boomerang rope. That was a pain in the ass, dude. But man, and it runs smoothly on the Xbox One, original Xbox, man. It was just, we went at it forever, man, me and my friends.
Mortal Kombat Unchained. We scroll down a little further. Ultimate Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe.
There we
got
go.
that.
Now we're in
I like that one.
I have that
my
one.
stuff. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fire it. You know it's backwards compatible, but there's no online for it.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Mortal Kombat 2011 and Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection.
Yeah, that was on 360 and PlayStation, all three.
Mortal Kombat X or 10, as some might want to call it.
Yep.
And then finally, we end off with Mortal Kombat 11, a pinnacle of the best of the franchises, I think, and it's almost a reinvention to some degree. So you've seen the series. There's a lot of games, 22 in total. Some were amazing. Some were very forgettable. Which are you guys, of all the Mortal Kombats that you played? Let's go now with our favorites. Tell me why, and then I want you to tell me your favorite character and perhaps a character you just couldn't stand. Anybody can take the showroom floor on this one.
I don't like Byakuya, the guy that spits acid at you after he drinks alcohol. So they can keep his as the big guy. But I got two there were my favorites, man. Mortal Kombat Ultimate 3 and Mortal Kombat. I just said it, Armageddon. I just loved it way. Like I said, I loved the way you could customize your weapon, customize your move set, and I missed that. They didn't bring stuff like that on until later on. And for the new generation, I don't know why, I still like Mortal Kombat 10. Mortal Kombat 11 is great, but I still like Mortal Kombat 10.
Yeah, I heard some people like the mechanics better in 10, but then I've heard other people say that vice versa. So I don't know.
Well, the speed's faster in Mortal Kombat 11 than it is in 10. 10 is more methodical. You really have to plan your move set and your block set. 11 is good, but sometimes your block set can get offset by somebody's like a counter or something like that somebody does. Plus, you could build up your that, what do you call that thing? Your X factor, and you can continuously build it back up to use it again. In Mortal Kombat 10, in 11, you can only use it once per match. So I missed that part of building it up and then getting them again. That's it.
Very nice. Well said by Sir X-Man. Before we get over to Paul and Pong, let's catch up with the chat real quick. We've got Depka, who is showing up in the chat. What's going on, Depka? General Spartan hanging out with us as well. John 907, AB is here. We got Princess Zelda in the house. Good to see you here, Princess Zelda. As I said earlier, the mag was hanging out with us, at least for a little while. Good to see the mag in the house. Vic the Click here as well. Doggy Dog always in the house. We got Spider-Man 356 here as well. Good to see everybody tonight. Dizzy Delta, my good Canadian friend, is in the building. What's going on, brother? And Joe Dunmore and Chase Jones here as well, and many, many more. Guys, you're awesome. Thank you for being here. We hope you're enjoying the conversation. And we're certainly enjoying the conversation we're seeing in the chat. Lots of people weighing in on their favorite games and their favorite characters. Let's get over to Cerebral Paul. Paul, which was your favorite of the Mortal Kombats, if any, and perhaps your go-to character?
Well, I mean, I've already kind of mentioned my go-to characters, but as far as the one I'm drawn to the most is actually the DC one because I know the other characters, and I'm a comic book guy. Because to me, because I'm not good at any of them, all fighting games are kind of the same to me. I mean, it's like, but as we were talking about before, a lot of it for me comes down to as we got into like 10 and 11, some of the control mechanisms got a little bit of convoluted, and I couldn't, do all of that funky stuff that I could see other people do. And for those of you who played me in these fighting games, especially like 10 or 11, I get my ass handed to me a lot because I can't, he says you got to be methodical and know what you're doing. And I basically can't go much beyond button mashing in those games. So, especially when it's like left, right, up, down, button, shoulder button, trigger, it's like, forget that shit. You laugh, but I mean, if
no,
you look
I
at the
understand
control
where you're
screen,
coming from because I got problems with my hands too. So sometimes, so I know, dude.
I mean, I could get better hits just throwing my controller on the ground, and it would have to hit it just right.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, it's funny because some of those games you can do really well with button mashing. That's the funny part. I've always found I got my ass kicked. I got my ass kicked more by guys who would button mash than guys who would actually try to do the moves because obviously some of those games trying to pull off moves can be complicated. So you'd miss windows of opportunity, right? So, but guys, I never wanted to just go up and punch. I always wanted to, try off some really cool moves, but then trying to string them together when you weren't really well versed at a character, you'd spend some time trying to pull it off and you get your butt kicked because you're constantly missing your combos, right? So.
By the way, I like the guy who drank his wine and spit acid because the drunk fighting style is the same. If I can get that in any game, I think those characters tend to be the funnest.
Well, I don't mind a drunk fighting style. It's just the way he did it was just was just gross. But it is Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that's also why I always enjoyed what's it called? Virtua Fighter, because that was where I was introduced to the main one of the main characters was a drunk fighter.
God, that dude! Oh, with the gray, with the white hair.
Yeah,
oh
so
my
much fun.
God!
Yeah, but as far as Scorpion, like I said, Scorpions is my usual go-to usually because I can do the back forward button push to get him to like do the hook and over here. Other than that, it was a lot of button mashing. But
Yeah. And then I block you, and then I bicycle kick you.
Yeah. What I need to do is see. Somebody promised me at one point, hey, they had a fighting stick they were going to send me. They never did. I could actually do these games a lot better if I wasn't trying to use an Xbox controller. If I was actually using a fighting stick, it would be a lot easier for me. But I just, I can't do that right now. But yeah, so for that part, I do enjoy that. Fighters I don't like. I can't really say. I mean, I have my favorites that I don't like to, the ones I don't like to use, just mostly because I can't do their move sets. But I don't remember enough about which ones I faced, which were more of a pain in the ass than the other.
True,
fair enough.
Always got an old school pad for you that works with the Xbox One. I have one here. I'll send you the link for it on Amazon. It's not that much. It's like about $40 bucks.
Yeah,
if you want to check it out.
RG Viper or whatever his name was, I think he is. He's offered me, but he's never sent it to me. He's told me multiple times he's going to send it to me. He never has. So
he's been working a lot. It's been hard for him to do any. He hadn't even played.
It's been 2 years. So
Jesus Christ, that's a long ass time. Yeah. But I'll send you the link for it, Paul.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Nice, very good. Let's get over to Pong Soul. Pong, which game stands out in your memories as your favorite of the Mortal Kombat, perhaps your least favorite, and obviously your character's favorite and least?
Yeah, well, I alluded to it. That number 2 will always be my favorite. Having to do with, again, just the time that it was in, the memories, playing with the buddies. all that kind of stuff. Again, I'm a nostalgia guy. I think that, we can separate Mortal Kombat into, new and old style. And if I had to pick out of the new ones, I'd probably go 10.
Yeah.
I would probably go 10, but for me, it might be different than most people. I'm not the technical fighter guy. I'm not the competition fighter guy. I button mash. I love fighters. I love the stories. I love the characters. I love watching the special moves, but I love the button mash. But in 10, I love the DLC characters. Being able to play as an alien, being able to play as a predator, Jason, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
That
those are
was
fun.
so
I have to admit,
cool.
those are fun. Yeah, those
Yeah,
They brought the robots back.
Yes,
yes.
It was so much fun. So I'd have to say 10. I did like 11 too as well, but 10 I think is still my favorite out of the new ones. As far as least favorite, you could pick any of those middle ones that you were showing off there.
Yeah,
That's when
the
I dropped
N64
off.
era.
Yeah, that was just.
Yeah.
That means
I don't
you
think.
miss Armageddon, dude.
Yeah, I probably did miss Armageddon
Yeah.
unless I played it at a buddy's house, which is certainly possible back then. But I probably missed it. I just kind of hopped off the Mortal Kombat train at that point. We're playing other things at that point. But so you could probably take any of those middle spots. Characters, I said it in the beginning, Raiden will always be my dude. He's been my dude since the beginning. I love Raiden. I just love the lightning effects. I love his special moves. His uppercut, his thunder uppercut fatality was always my favorite.
Oh, that was so vicious.
It was. It explode into a bunch of bones and blood across the screen. It was just amazing. I love that.
You know why I always loved Raiden? Because Raiden always reminded me of Big Trouble in Little China.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. One of my favorite all-time movies, and absolutely, of course.
That's where they designed him.
The Thunder God.
Yeah.
Let's go. Raiden will always be my favorite. As far as my least favorite goes, probably Goro. I just hated that dude. I don't know why. He was big, ugly, slow. I could never play with him. I had friends who could play with him and would just tear me up. So I just hated Goro. I've always hated Goro.
Hey, Pong, remember that Shiva was the cheat.
Yeah.
All you did was stomp. That's all you got to do was stomp.
Yep, exactly. So there you go, Noof. That's my list.
Yeah, I'm much like you, Pong. It was in that when the fighting genre, like I said, it started to die down a little bit, especially after Mortal Kombat 3. And then there was that whole transition into 3D graphics. You can see even from the pictures that I pulled up on screen, the graphics do not look very well today. The 2D stuff holds up a lot better than the 3D stuff in its infancy, but that's just the nature of the business at the time and the technology that was. So I'm like you, man. I missed out on a lot of them. I dabbled with a lot of different games, so it's hard for me to say, but obviously Mortal Kombat 2, much like yourself, because it just came out at a very pinnacle time in my life. I love that game. It's kind of funny because I had Mortal Kombat. The original Mortal Kombat, I had it on the Sega Genesis, and then Mortal Kombat 2 I ended up having on the Super Nintendo. So, and I enjoyed the Super Nintendo controller a little bit better for playing the fighting games. Plus, I had the little
traitor new.
But yeah, Mortal Kombat 2. But I'm sorry.
You got to realize in a lot of these times in the 90s up into the early 2000s when the Xbox came out, I was a PC guy. So that's why I didn't see a lot of these iterations, because I was on PC doing, big boy games.
You were playing The Sims. Come on now.
No, I was Splinter Cell, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I was primarily a PC guy, up until the mid to late 90s. So.
But overall, I'm going to give my vote to Mortal Kombat 11, just because I think, graphically, animation-wise, characters, it has everything you could want in a Mortal Kombat game. It really looks and plays amazing. I really love that game. It's the first Mortal Kombat that I plunked full price down, like on day one, for the first time in years. I didn't even get overly excited about Mortal Kombat 10. I just kind of skipped over it a little bit, but as far as favorite characters, well, there can only be one for me, and I'll show you who that is right now. Let's where the hell am I at here? There we go. I just had to figure out what was going on. That is Sub-Zero.
There you go.
Yes, Sub-Zero is my favorite character. So in a sense, My most hated character is almost Scorpion because, essentially those two characters are nearly identical to each other and they're sort of the arch nemesis, so to speak. But yeah, I've always liked Sub-Zero. Always liked, the cool looking outfits, and always liked his frost moves and stuff, and making people slip and slide. That was kind of cool. And yeah, he's just my favorite character. I always love ninjas.
Here's the bad part about being Sub-Zero and Scorpion all the time. Mostly a lot of people would just pick them all the time, and people that fought against them all the time, because with different characters and people that picked them would get their ass kicked, because we already figured out how to just beat the crap out of both of them characters. Everybody picked them. Everybody picked them.
There's a flip side too. A lot of us got our asses beat because people were so damn good at playing those characters.
Nah, but playing against those characters, if you can master beating them, everything else becomes easy. There's two staples for 30 years, dude. Eventually, they balanced out the characters where they, it ain't like it was in the beginning where they got to be beatable, And I like Scorpion, but I had to get out of the Scorpion niche, you know what I'm saying, and start learning other characters, man. So I know what you're saying, though, and I like your Papa Sub-Zero. That's cool.
Yeah, I always liked Liu Kang. Liu Kang was great.
Liu Kang was my dude.
Yeah, like Liu Kang. So that kind of touches on the games. Like I said, it's been a long history, some really great entries and some not so great entries, and we look forward to seeing where they go next. And like I said, even that crossover of Mortal Kombat versus DC, which was really cool, and a lot of people want that to come back. So I'm sure perhaps there might be one in the oven with the resurgence of fighting games these days. Let's just quickly, before we wrap this up, we'll just talk about the movies. Do you guys enjoy the movie versions of Mortal Kombat? If so, which ones did you like and which ones did not like? And what do you think of the newer one that just came out like about 2 years ago?
The first one for me, mine's easy. Mine's easy because mine is the first one forever. The music, the techno, everything about it. We went and saw it in the theater, I think at least 3 times. Absolutely love the first Mortal Kombat. I don't care what anybody says. Sure, you can go watch it now and say it doesn't hold up. I watch old 80s movies all the time. So for me, 80s and 90s movies, for me, I don't care. If I can look at them and go, boy, that's pretty cheesy. It doesn't matter to me. I still enjoy them for what they are. And then anything after that to me is crap. And I haven't watched the new one. I had zero interest in watching the new one.
It's not that bad if you want to check it out. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I just don't watch movies and TV anymore. If I'm in front of the screen, I'm playing games now. Like that's legit my life now.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, Mortal Kombat, the first movie certainly holds a deep spot in the hearts of many. Like I said, because it came out relatively close to the games, and it at least sort of it stayed fairly true to the source material, unlike a lot of other movies that are based on games, which really almost slap in the face to the actual fans. But how about you, Cerebral Paul? You've checked them all out, right?
Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan of the '90s one. I hate to say it. It's just even back then it was cheese. Okay, I mean,
you can kick them off the show anytime, Noof. It's fine.
What's funny though?
Yeah, you can go.
See, I do like the new one, especially there was the one character that they did a great job with, the older guy. I can't think of his name. The only thing I didn't like about the new one is there was really no tournament. There was just a lot of running around and fighting each other for no apparent reason. Before
it was
the
about the rivalry between.
Are you talking about Christopher Lambert's character?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lambert, of course. Again, I was going to say that before. Lambert's in it. It's an automatic win. I don't care.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to hopefully that, because I know they're doing another one. I hope they, we finally get to actually see the tournament or whatever. But I enjoyed the new one. I really did. I thought it was, it was fun, and yeah, but see, Pong, I do like some older movies with some cheese. Like I love the old Flash Gordon movie, and it doesn't get much more cheesy than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I own the Flash Gordon movie. I own it digitally. Yeah.
So they have their place. I just think some work better than others. It's just one of those things. Until relatively recently, video game based movies didn't ever do it for me because they never really did a good job. You know, in fact, like the Mario Brothers, the old movie gets some love, and I'm like, that was a piece of crap.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that's one of our later topics, actually, so I'll stop there. So, so yeah, that's where I stand with that. I enjoyed the most recent movie. I hope they do more with it. Yeah.
So X-Men, sounds like you like the original, have fond memories of it. Would that be your
Yep.
favorite?
What was that other piece of crap they came out with after the original?
Mortal Kombat 2 Annihilation.
Yeah, I was trying not to mention the name because it was
And
other
there was that
garbage.
Mortal Kombat sort of what the heck was it called? It was kind of like a TV movie. It was episodic or something.
That actually was not that bad. If you watch at season 1 and season 2, I actually watched both. That was not that bad. There was some cheesy ones in there, but it for the most part, it was not that bad to watch.
Have you
But
been
no.
checked for senility lately? I'm just asking.
I live in a
Yeah.
different world than you.
Woman,
okay?
man, camera, chair. Okay, just
The only good thing about that was Michael Jai White was in it.
I own Mortal Kombat 1 on disc and digitally and on Blu-ray. So thank you. I also own I Come in Peace with Dolph Lundgren. Don't mock me. But that's it. Original one.
The original one for you, and the new one didn't care for it.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't. Black Paul said it wasn't that bad at all. Like I said, it was pretty much the story of Sub-Zero versus Scorpion. So and their clans and all the stuff. So it wasn't bad.
Nice. Checking out with the chat again. Everybody's rolling by. We got Salty's Gaming up in the house. What's going on, Master Salt? Good to see you here, my friend. And Pong. Obviously, I know you. You're going back with the old school Mortal Kombats on this one.
Yeah, I led off actually, Noof. So yeah, I did say that I would definitely choose the original Mortal Kombat.
What you said was so meaningful for Noof. He wanted to hear it again.
I know.
I'd have started with Paul. Never mind.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
You started with Pong.
Well, for me, guys, I'll say the original again. Much like the games, it's just because it came out at a great time. I mean, for its day, it was really cool. I like the fact that they had the tournament. And they had a little bit of name recognition, at least with Christopher Lambert as Raiden, and you had Kerry Sagawa. Is that his name? He was Shang Tsung. It was even cool that they brought him back for the video game and digitize him with his voice and his likeness into the game, which was awesome. I think that's a nice little fan service right there.
Sonya Blade was hot.
Yeah, the girl who played Sonya in the first movie, yeah.
And Katana. I fell in love with Katana for that movie. That made me fall in love with Katana.
Felisa Soto played her in the first movie. I remember that because I was thinking the same as you. She was gorgeous. And I really like Robin Show as well as Liu Kang. He pulled that off fantastically. Definitely give you the Bruce Lee kind of vibe. Great stuff. Like the first movie, like I said, yeah, it's cheesy today. It doesn't hold up as well as it did, but it's still sort of a classic. And like I said, it's one of the few video game adaptations that at least tried to honor the source material. And like Pong mentioned, how can you miss that iconic sort of techno soundtrack? Test your might.
Yep.
Mortal Kombat. That song
so
hit
good.
Top,
I got the CD.
That song hit top 10 on the charts when it came out, dude.
Exactly.
I was like, get out of here.
That song's been featured in other pop culture stuff since then. That's the crazy part, right?
Oh yeah.
And the new movie wasn't bad. It was certainly not terrible. They obviously focusing on the popularity of Sub-Zero and Scorpion because he sort of took a bit of a more of a prominent role throughout the movie in their feud, stuff like that. So yeah, Bridget Wilson was her name. Thank you, General Spartan. Thanks for that. That would be mine. Love the first one. The last one was pretty cool. I would like to see more Mortal Kombat movies. So all that stuff.
Yeah, the only thing about Armageddon that I like is Sindel was hot. That's the only thing I liked about Armageddon. Other than that, the
That
rest
movie
of
was
it was crap.
movie was unwatchable. That movie
Yeah,
was
but Zendaya was hot though. Oh my god, she
Yeah,
was
'cause
hot.
I don't know how the second movie managed to be completely so bad. Like, they
Different
did pretty well the
writers
first
that
one.
didn't
Yeah, it
know
was
the
just
mythos. They
you
didn't know
bring
the
back the
mythos.
characters, but yet it was, and of course the CGI wasn't really great back then. They were trying to do too much of it, and it was a little bit really cheesy, So
Yeah, that's when Jax got his arms. I'm ready now, baby. Yeah, ground pound. I'm like, oh my god.
better go easy there, Sir X Man.
I'm awake now.
Huh?
I'm awake now.
You're gonna need a pacemaker here in a minute. There you go.
Hey, they
All right,
just
so
fixed
Mortal
my
Kombat.
heart. I'm good.
All right.
okay.
Any final thoughts on Mortal Kombat?
Nope. Just wait.
Nope.
I guess we'll just wait for Mortal Kombat 12.
That's right. It's coming. You know it is.
You know it is.
All right. Congratulations, though, on like I said, fantastic milestone, 30 years, and becoming not only just a video game but a cultural phenomenon. Because there's toys, there's merch, there's comics, there's TV shows, animated series. When you've reached that pinnacle, you are more than just a standard video game. You are into another realm, so to speak. Pardon the pun.
Because your name is known worldwide.
That's right, worldwide. All right, so we got that time of the night. We're just about halfway through, and it is now time to ask Arnold. So those of you who've got your questions ready, you can pop them. Mr. Arnold's on standby and ready to go. Anybody have a question for Mr. Arnold? I'm just going to say this much because you guys are pussyfooting around and not bringing me the question. So I'm here. I should have been in Mortal Kombat. I could have played Jax. No, I understand that I'm not black, but you know what? I would have loved it because I would have been Jaxing on and Jaxing off. Yes. No, I swear it. Terrible joke. Honestly, I'm starting off on a bad note here.
Wow.
But no, Mortal Kombat is a great movie. I love it. I love the original. The cast is great. Like I said, there's very hot women in there. Some really cool martial arts that was featured in there. And of course, you had Goro, which looked a lot like one of my exes. The only thing that would have made, I would have wished that my ex was Goro because at least the 4 hands, they could have come in very useful at the time. Yes.
Yeah. But now wait a second though. Now because Terminator does actually show up in Mortal Kombat 10, weren't you actually in there? So
I'm into the Mortal Kombat, and it's a crying shame that they didn't. They went out and got Sylvester Stallone to voice his character of Rambo. Didn't get me. They got some cheap knockoff guy who does not do this impression as good as Noof Nukem. But no, it is terrible. They could have even got Noof Nukem to step in for me if they couldn't get me to do the role. I would have been obliged to do it. It's crazy. They did a great job on the likeness, except that they chose the old version of me. I would have had the younger naked version because that would have looked amazing. I maybe had like a big old dick fatality, slapping somebody's something like that. Maybe all my flesh will burn off. The Terminator, you get like a T800 penis or something. And then he goes from the Terminator to the Penetrator.
Yeah, I can see the penis coming from the vagina right all through the mouth. Yeah, I can see that.
Wow.
Projectile.
This is that kind of show, Pong. I'm sorry.
I know what kind of show it is.
Oh, shit. Any questions? Did we got anything in the chat? Nobody has any questions for Arnold tonight?
Arnold, what
Go
is your fatality from Doggy Dog? What is your fatality, Arnold?
My fatality from Doggy Dog. You know what? I'm going to actually do something like this. I'm gonna go back to the Commando movie. And when I had Sully and I'm going to hold him up by the boots, I'm going to turn you upside down. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to grab you by the head. I'm going to pull the skin down off your bodies while holding on to the bottom of your legs. And then I'm going to take your skin. I'm going to choke out your torso. And then I'm going to give you a giant wedgie. And then I'm going to shoot you like a slingshot off into fucking space.
Wow.
Hey, Arnold. Cortana or Sonya Blade?
Oh, I'm gonna have to go with Sonya simply because at least she looks good with the mask on or off or whatever. But with the katana, we've all seen what happens when she takes the mask off. Okay, she's got a great body, but she got a lot of dental work there, and I don't even think she's gonna get insured for that. So I don't want to be messing with any lady that looks like she's gonna eat your penis for lunch.
Oh, you getting Cortana mixed up with her sister.
Oh, Katana, yes, Cortana. Are you talking about Cortana from like Master Chief?
No. Katana. Oh my god.
Is there a Cortana in Mortal Kombat? It was
No,
Katana.
Katana.
Kitana, right?
Right.
Not
Her
Cortana.
sister was the one with the teeth that open
That's
all the way up.
Melina.
Melina, yeah. Sorry.
God damn it, man. Get your facts straight.
Yes, sir, Arnold. I'm sorry. You were the governor of a state. I should never correct you. I'm sorry.
Oh man. Let's here we go. Dead proof. He's got a question. Anybody care to read it?
Yeah, hang on.
Hey Arnold, do you think the Terminator is better than the Mortal Kombat movies?
Are you fucking kidding me with that question? Of course. The Mortal Kombat movies, how many have you had? Couple, like 2 or 3. Most of them were absolutely terrible. My movies were at least somewhat passable. The first 2 are absolute masterpieces. After that, there was a whole lot of Reese's Pieces. You know what I mean? There was a couple of half decent ones in there. One of the best ones, honestly, was the one I wasn't even in. Well, I was in it, but I was all CGI. That's when I was sexy and I was naked, and that was Terminator Salvation. How could you not love a Terminator movie with a great actor like Christian Bale in it? But yes, all of the rest of the movies, some of them were absolutely terrible. The only good thing about Terminator 3 was we had that Christiana Loken. She played the female Terminator, and she was fucking hot. I mean, if you're gonna have anybody that's gonna rip your spine out and kick you in the balls, I'd wanted to be someone that's very sexy like her.
Arnold, I did have a question for you for years, and so did you ever have sex with Sarah Connors?
That is a very private and personal question, but you know what? I am going to answer it for you. Yes, I have found this. I had sex with Sarah Connor. You had sex with Linda Hamilton. Of course I did. How could she resist this mountain of muscle? I took her in the back. I seduced her, and I promised her the world. And she became a great actress and became a very successful person because I was in there banging her. So in the movie, I'm chasing her down, and in the bedroom, I'm stalking her. It was awesome. It was great times.
Did you just say, Arnold, that you contributed to her success because you had sex with her? Is that what you're saying?
Of course, anybody that I have sex with, they're very successful. That's what happens. You know.
What about your maid? What about your maid?
Well, of course, she became popular. She made the headlines. Now she's popular, and everybody wants to hire her. She's never had to look for work again. She's out there, and she's probably getting fucked over and fucked in and the whole 9 yards. I'm telling you, anybody that has association with me is going to end up very, very, very happy. That's the bottom line.
Got to work again, Arnold, because child support is expensive in California.
Hey, good. Joe Dunmore.
Joe Dunmore. Hey Arnold, I think you should be the voice of Mario. Yeah, couldn't do much worse than what we got. So
what is he asked me to actually imitate Mario? Is that what he's trying to do? All right, here it goes. I'm going to do my best Mario for you guys. Okay, sit back and relax. Get your coffees. It's a man, Mario. Going down the pipe. No, never mind. Shut up, you fucking mushroom whore. Get out of here, Toad. What the hell are you all smoking here? I am Super Mario. I'm the greatest superhero in the video game kingdom, and I'm coming to get you, Bowser. I'm going to get you. Yes, I'm going to come and get you, and I'm going to light your ass on fire, you big fucking mutated turtle fucker.
Speaking of Bowser, Kylo Milo asked, Arnold, do you think you could beat Bowser in a fight?
Of course I could. I'm going to do the same thing that Mario did in Mario 64. I'm going to just run around. He's big and fat and he can't catch me. I'm going to get behind him. I'm going to grab him by the tail and I'm going to sling him off into some kind of lava pit or maybe even an outhouse filled with shit. All right, there we go, guys. That's let's move right along, shall we? Well, speaking since we're kind of on this topic, let's talk about the Mario Brothers movie. We've seen the short trailer for it. It is made by Illumination, who is made famous by doing the Despicable Me and Minions movies. I mean, from a artistic standpoint, it looks amazing. It looks like they pretty well perfectly recaptured the Mushroom Kingdom and Mario and all the other characters. Like I said, we still need to see a lot more. But there's been some controversy as well with the voice acting. A lot of people think that I think it's Martine. What's his first name? The original voice of Mario all these years, it's me, Mario, that he should be the voice actor. And they have a point because, he's an animated cartoon character and he doesn't really need a celebrity voice actor per se, or a big name celebrity voice actor to go behind it. But that is the trend. Did you guys watch the trailer? And if so, what did you think about it? And are you excited for the movie next year?
Well, mine's quick and short again because I don't watch movies or TV much anymore, and I left Mario back during the Super Nintendo days. Much respect to Nintendo and their place in history, of course, but I have zero interest in seeing a Mario movie. As far as the animation goes, it looks gorgeous. It's actually kind of sad because Nintendo, if they actually put effort into their hardware, could have Mario games that look like that, and that's what they should look like nowadays. So that's the part I got out of the trailer. But the trailer did look great. It's just I have zero interest in Mario whatsoever. But with the as far as what you were saying, Noof, as far as the celebrity voices, listen, it's really hard for Hollywood to get out of the mindset to not have a big marquee name, even in animated movies, right? Unfortunately, that has become a way to sell animated movies a lot of times, is who are doing the voices. And if you don't have that marquee name, like if you put that guy's name, I forget his name too, if you put his name up there on the marquee next to some other big actors, everybody's gonna be like, who the hell's that? Right? They're not gonna know. Yeah, they're just not gonna know who it is. And I think that's probably why they went out and got Chris Pratt. Again, from the little snippet I heard, I kind of laughed at it. And I was like, well, it sounds like Chris Pratt, even him falling down in the beginning where he's falling on the mushrooms and landing like he's like, it sounded like Chris Pratt. I was like, that's Chris Pratt. Like, that's like obvious. So, we'll see how it turns out. Obviously the fans are going to be harsh no matter what, especially on an iconic character with somebody who has an established voice already, even if it is limited. They are going to be harsh no matter what, but hopefully we see some more and maybe Chris Pratt does a little bit better job than just the little snippets we heard. But shout out to everybody who loves Nintendo and loves Mario. They're going to get a treat for sure no matter what, because it looks, again, the animation looks fantastic on it.
Okay.
So do you guys think it's better to nail, then do you guys think when they're casting for movies like this, it's better to become closer to especially when they're live action representations, do you think it's better to cast someone who at least more looks the part or sounds the part?
Okay, you ready?
Go ahead, Sir X-Men. We're ready.
On the first note first, I think Nintendo's they made a new movie because Sonic came out and whipped their ass again. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud? The movie. So I think they're trying to capitalize on the hype. And I'm sorry, if Chris Pratt is the best you can get to represent Mario, that's just Mario's not even, I mean, Chris Pratt's not even Italian. He's not even Italian, So, you should have got somebody that was at least, in that realm where they could talk like Mario. At least Sonic sounded like Sonic. And at least my boy acted like Egghead. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're trying to get off the nostalgia for a video game character now, since it kind of went down the hill about 30 years ago. So we'll see if it pulls anybody, but I don't know. I can't tell you. I saw the trailer, and I was impressed with the graphics, but I wasn't impressed with the dialogue. That's it.
Nice. Okay. Paul?
Okay, so one, whoever voices him doesn't have to be Italian. People can do Italian accents. I don't give a shit. But Chris Pratt, yeah, he didn't. The voice doesn't match. Um, the animation and stuff looks cool. I will probably watch it at some point when it's streaming for free on HBO or Netflix or wherever it goes to at some point. Disney Plus, OnlyFans, whatever. But yeah, as far as and so yeah, could that to me for especially for animated stuff, they should have picked somebody. They probably could have found a name who could voice something that sounds more like closer to the character.
Mm.
Hell, even make it sound like what's his name who did the original movie. I don't care, But yeah, whatever I heard in that trailer was really weird. So, but to your second point, I think in a live action situation, you want to get somebody I think who can voice close to it because they can use makeup and such to make them look more like the character. So it's
Right.
easier to get a matching voice than it is to get a matching actor and with a matching voice,
True.
that looks and sounds the same. It's easier to manipulate the looks than it is to manipulate the voice. So I think that would be the key. Like I said, I don't know how it's going to work because, part of it is like with anything that they transfer from one medium to another. There's always going to be changes. We don't understand why they chose Chris Pratt. Maybe he paid them. I don't know. Who knows? But it was like Robin Williams being Popeye. Okay, I mean nobody thought. Yeah.
I guess it's because it's like everything. They kind of go with the it guy, the person who's sort of hot in
Yeah.
Hollywood, so to speak.
And
that's
Chris Pratt
the
in
goes.
everything lately. So yeah. So
Like, for example, Will Smith. You guys think he's going to voice anything anytime soon?
he's got a big movie coming out though that's not going to get any Oscar nods apparently, but still, it's. But yeah, I think they could have found a name that could have carried the voice off a little better. But who knows? We'll see how it works out. If it's a fun movie, it'll probably still do well.
Well, I can't wait to see it. I have high hopes for it, especially on the success of Sonic. And obviously, it looks like this movie is going to be 100% grounded in a CGI style world, not a studio live action / CGI kind of movie like the Sonic one was, which turned out pretty good. I was skeptical about that, but they pulled it off relatively well. So I'm pretty excited for the movie. As far as Chris Pratt, I could care less either way. I don't think he sounds terrible. I just don't think he sounds iconic. He certainly doesn't try to imitate or copy the sound overly well, at least on my short representation of it. So kind of a missed opportunity, but like we've all said, it's kind of how this goes in Hollywood. They go with the hot factor, the it factor, and those names are always associated to roles. I will forever be bitter with the fact that cast Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, considering that you've got the one and only Nathan Fillion out there who not only looks very comparable to Nathan Drake, but sounds exactly like the man from the video games. That's what made me so pissed off. And the fact that he even said, I want to play the role, and even went out as far as making a short movie to basically prove he could do the role and still got overlooked. I'm like, man, how can you guys fuck something up that's that obvious? But whatever. It is the new hotness. Tom Holland's the hotness. He's going to be in everything for the next while. So it is what it is, I guess.
Well, I don't remember if it was you that I spoke to about this. I think the reason for that was they wanted to do somebody they could do Nathan Drake for a while and start him younger than where, Fillion is now. I mean, if they would have grabbed Fillion when he was doing, the show that Firefly, that's different. That was almost 20 years ago. That was, and so now it'd be cool. What they could have done is done like they almost could have done Fillion in an older Nathan Drake movie and then reset it back to the origins of Nathan Drake, which might have been fun. But yeah, I can see it's the same reason. Like they've said they want to aim for the next James Bond to be in his 30s at the
Yeah.
earliest, 30s to 40s, and so everybody's going and because I've been saying that to people all along because they want somebody that can age up and not be aged out after 2 movies. You know.
It's funny because we were talking about a subject like this not so long ago when it came to the Last of Us TV show, and it seems like the consensus I'm feeling is that most people seem to be okay with Pedro Pascal as Joel, but a lot of people struggling with the girl that's playing Ellie. She seems young, just totally visually sound just doesn't seem the part. But I haven't seen the show yet, so I'll leave my judgments for after. I like the girl that plays Ellie. I mean, as an actress, but I do get where people are coming from. So it's kind of funny how some of these casting calls go, but it is what it is. I guess you got to go with people that are in the now, the new hotness, as you call it.
And like I said, every fan base gets into this. We're dealing with it for the Rings of Power. We're dealing with it for the other one, the
Game of Thrones.
The Game of Thrones one. That well, it's not the material. It's not based on the source material. It's different than like just enjoy the damn show. It's like
that's right. Yeah, you can't overthink it too much. At the end of the day, it's got to stay.
Yeah.
It's got to stay true to its source material as opposed to the way
to a point. Yeah, right. but sometimes changes have to be made for whatever reason. So why can't you enjoy it for what it is instead of deciding you hate it because somebody's not the color that you thought they should be, or somebody?
It's not always about that though, Paul, because they destroyed Star Wars. Or Disney's destroyed Star Wars. Okay, and for some of us that grew up on it. Again, I'm old enough now. Like I realize that I'm gonna get old enough where things that I used to enjoy just aren't for me anymore, and so I'm cool with it. I've still got my old Star Wars stuff that I absolutely enjoy. I'm just saying when they try to do
but
sometimes nowadays
is,
they try to go too much against the grain, Paul, for the sake to go against the grain, and it does to some of the true fans.
But also the style of storytelling in movies has shifted from 1977 to now, and
sure.
And so you have to take that into account as well.
Yep, absolutely, 100%. 100%. I agree with you on certain. There's certain idiots in any fan base that are going to be the loudest. Right. We see that all the time in this community, right? Idiots who will always ruin anything, right? That's the way it is. But there's some fans we do have real complaints or real concerns about stuff. And those are all drowned out. They get thrown in with the idiots, and then it's just all, oh, you just hate it. You're just old school. You just don't want this. You just don't want that. And it's like, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. But there's no more discussion anymore, right? That's what I hate about it nowadays.
Well,
here's the thing. It's not all about the graphics and the movies anymore. It's about, can you tell a good story?
Mm-hmm.
It's getting taken away now with a lot of movies nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It's just stay to the somewhat to the true storylines. Make it canon. You can throw a little bit of graphics in there and stuff like that. That's fine. But sometimes when you go overboard with the graphics, sometimes it takes away from a movie. And this is my feeling of how it is right about now.
No, well, my issue is, and what I'm trying to is, it's the purists that tend to be the problem. The purists are the ones who think they know what the author had in mind 100 years ago when he wrote the book or whatever.
Yeah,
like stop it, just stop it. Just like I said, I try to enjoy things for what they are. Like my favorite example is Misery, the book and the movie by Stephen King. I first read the book, one of my favorite Stephen King books, and then I saw the movie. Are they the same? No, they had to make some changes for cinematic purposes, but they're both they top my list for what they are. The differences they made, they tell a slightly different story, but the core is still there. And some people just hate it because, well, they did this in the book and they didn't do it in the movie, or vice versa. Like, get over it. It's a great damn movie.
I like the movie, but there are some movies out there that's not staying even to the core of the book.
Well, no,
they just see the
but I'm saying,
concept of
but I'm saying
the
a
book,
lot of
and they
people, a lot of
change
people.
everything.
No, but a lot of people complain for the sake of complaining over what's really a minor thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because
So
I mean, do you really think Avengers Endgame actually was supposed to end it like that? It was a totally different thing. It was, and they changed it all around to work it into the movie. It wasn't even canon, but it
well,
worked.
who cares? Who
Yeah.
cares?
Wait, what?
As long as it
I
works
said,
for
but
what it
didn't
is.
you?
As long as it works.
But didn't
No,
you just
no,
hear me
no.
say? But it worked.
As long as it works for what it is, it's fine. Who cares if it matches what they did in the comic books? I don't, because that's what
that's you, Paul.
multiverses are for. You know,
But
seriously.
that's you, Paul. And I'm kind of jealous of people like you who can do that, who can separate out. I'm kind of jealous because that's a
I
great
ain't
attitude
jealous
to
of him.
have. But for for some of us, it's just not possible to do that.
But see, especially in comics, that's what they have the multiverse for. That's not that universe. That's this universe.
But that
Cool.
was created specifically for this, Paul, to be
No,
able
no,
to.
no. What I'm saying, no, the
Yeah.
multiverse has been around. DC actually did it first, but
I know, but what I'm saying is they've abused it now to the point to be able to be printing money.
but that's because I mean, and you want to see a comic book that doesn't translate well when they stick to the source material. Spider-Man, what was it, 3, when he did the Saturday Night Live dancing shit.
In that movie, let's
You know, that was a direct draw from the comic books, and it really didn't work in a movie. Seriously, I mean, it really, you know.
Yeah.
So,
well, no, that becomes a problem with a lot of pop culture movies and so on and so forth like that. Is, you know, once you get to a certain stage and you become a very big property, you know, storytelling takes a backseat to just making profits and pumping these things out like nobody's business, and things start to slip. It's hard to write great stories nowadays. I mean, a lot of stuff has been told, and it's hard to revamp characters or bring stuff back or make it fresh and new. And like you said, to please the old fans and also at the same time bring in new ones and keep them happy too. You know, and that's always the fight we deal with. We deal with it in the video game world too. You know, when we get weaned on a certain product and then they change up the franchise years later, and you're kind of like, what are they doing? But it is what it is, I guess.
Wait a minute. How often do they wean up old franchises? How often does that happen? Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Well, you look at the changes, like you take changes like the God of War, for example, or you take changes to what are some franchises that change kind of drastically? Like,
right,
some have done it very well. Some have done it very well. I mean, you look at some of the old 2D games. You got Mario games and stuff, and Zeldas that transition from a traditional 2D game, and then they transition to 3D, and they had various settings and various depictions. Like you look at Wind Waker, and how that was sort of.
I love Wind Waker so much. I don't care what people say.
I love Wind Waker.
Was amazing.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, sometimes games are a little different because games take so long to make. But when you start, like, we see that in horror movies all the time. You get a popular horror movie, and then all of a sudden, you know, 5 years later, you're on your 7th iteration of that horror movie. And then when that grows old, they kill it for a couple of years, and they bring back a reboot. Which is
Halloween, the final was coming out for Halloween. I was like, come on.
Making money at this point, not writing a great script.
I'm looking forward to the new Halloween. I'm not sleeping all weekend. I'm looking forward to
see how old Jamie Lee Curtis look? Oh, my God. What has happened to her from True Lies, man? I'm like, holy shit.
You know what? She still looks good for being as old as she is.
No, she don't.
Oh my God, dude, you are boring.
No, she don't, dude.
Oh my God.
When you realize how old she is, yes, dude.
No, she don't. I'm sorry.
Barbie Eden, what kind of podcast
Barbie Eden still looks hot to this day, and Barbie Eden is old. But Sheila still looks good.
I know. I've actually met Barbara Eden back then. So yeah,
I hate you right now because you met Barbara Eden. I really hate you right now.
but I mean, you know, somebody mentioned that the game that does well, Grand Theft Auto did well. Also, people may not remember, Fallout is not the same type of game it was when it launched as Fallout 1. It was a top-down more thing. It was a different style of game, and they've changed and adjusted throughout the years.
Well,
Does this
You know.
surprise
a
real
good
quick?
example
Dude.
here's a good
Good.
example,
Oh, go
right?
ahead.
Like let's just take the whole battle royale thing, right? Um, there's been a lot of them since that genre has become popular. Like, so we're starting to get a lot of games that are thrown into the public eye with the sake of just making a game. It's not about making the best game possible or making a game that's got this great story and it's going to be the next revolution in gaming. It's just you got to get something out there that's an imitation of the most popular thing. Just pump it out. Hopefully, the kids gravitate to it. Most often, it's a free to play model because that's how you bait people in with the easy, get them in, and then nail them with the microtransactions down the road. Like that's a perfect example of the gaming space being made for the sake of making money as opposed to just making a great story or great content. You know what I mean?
Don't give no
Oh
idea because
yeah,
I
yeah.
just thought
Nope.
about
I
some
think I think you
Grand
were
Theft
still.
Auto, the movie.
Yep, we were still on GMX. I think when we first started talking about all the battle royales that were coming out, and my stand was every game doesn't need a goddamn battle royale, and I stand by that. It's like yes, it's a money grab. Yes, people will play it, but every game doesn't need that shit. Focus on the game, not just
Exactly.
you know. And everybody was saying Halo needs a battle royale. This needs a battle royale. That needs a, and like stop it. Just there's no thought that goes into a battle royale.
No, it's just like even in like there's little things that sort of irk me. Let's just take Gotham Knights, right, which is coming out. So in the previous Batman games, there was no life meters to my knowledge over any of the enemies' heads. Now they got little life bars over their heads. So you're fighting people and you see these little bars. I don't know, maybe some of you guys like that shit, but to me
well,
it's kind of
you
like
might
now it's
you
starting to
might be
turn
able to turn it on. You might be able to turn them off though. A lot of games have those, and you can disable them, which you know,
it just
which
starts to
is fine.
remind me of like RPGs and shit. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I don't know. It just doesn't seem fitting for the games that they basically are modeled off of. But
No, and
anyway,
I'm actually surprised they did that. That company is the one that did all the Arkham games, which are awesome, by the way. If
yes.
you
What's going on, Il Ray Tito? Good to see you here. I think you're new to the show. Victor Click still hanging out with us. Draven Arrowhead's Row, Casket Repair in the house. AB, what's going on? We got a great crew in the chat tonight as we welcome Pong Soul to the show. We're going to get Pong to weigh in on our next topic. Let's change gears here. This one's pretty much dead in the water. Look, we all hope that the new Mario movie is going to be great. And at the end of the day, I think Chris Pratt's voice is one of the least things we should worry about. If he whatever, as long as he doesn't sound absolutely atrocious, I think it'll be okay. But let's talk about Phil Spencer's shelf, shall we? It's going around right now. There's a new product that is sitting behind him on the shelf. Looks like a very miniature style Xbox. So we're hearing a lot of talk about an all cloud based machine. Could this be it? And we'll start with Pong Soul. Pong, what do you think about what this new device that everybody's alluding to on Phil Spencer's shelf?
Yeah, we've been talking about this for quite a while. Project Keystone is the code name. Thanks to Jez, he broke this. My God, I don't know how long ago he broke this story, but it looks like it's finally getting close to the time where we do get this device, and I think it's a natural evolution to what Xbox is trying to do to allow people to access anywhere, anytime on any device. And I think that right now, introducing this device coming into the holiday season with the family Game Pass opportunity is a big deal. Now, I know that not everybody is going to have the best experience with this device, as we know that it's going to be highly dependent upon your internet at home and what it's going to be, and what kind of experiences you're going to have. But for those families, especially now with where the world's at in a recession, and people tightening the belts, and after the past 2 years of everything that we've all been through, I think this is a perfect opportunity for Xbox to introduce this device. If you're a family and you can't necessarily go buy a console for every TV in the house, to be able to add this device, which, we've all been guessing at this since we started talking on it. I said the $99 price point with a controller would be an absolute steal. and would be just fantastic. I think it would do really, really well. So I think adding this cloud-based device is just one more opportunity for Xbox to expand. We've seen them partner with Logitech G Cloud. We just saw Lenovo come out with Chromebooks today that are xCloud based. We've got all these devices now coming out. Adding this one, which everybody is comfortable with. You got to think about where we're at in 2022. Everybody's had a Fire Stick or a Roku or whatever the case may be. This isn't some like brand new technology where people are going to look at it in the store and be like, what's this? How do I work this? How do I hook this up? It's going to be simple for people to look at it and go, oh, so I can go replace my old Fire Stick with this thing. It's going to do basically the same. Just need a controller. Let's assume one's packed in. It comes with a controller, and I can get on the Game Pass. And they start looking into Game Pass and see, 400 plus games available, kids stuff, adult stuff, everything that you ever think of. Listen, it sells itself at that point for a lot of people, not for everybody. I'm not saying this is like the ultimate universal device that 2 billion, 3 billion people are going to go buy. What I'm saying is it's one more. And then if you think outside of the United States, if you think outside of Europe, you start thinking to the East where mobile is huge, where they have the infrastructure and technology as far as internet goes, that's what they're used to.
You're taking away my point.
That's what they're used to. Get used to it, Paul. Get used to it. Now you're in my wheelhouse, buddy. Now you're in my wheelhouse. Listen, when you start thinking about that over there, that's where you really could see this thing take off, assuming they have a worldwide launch, right? And then, like I said, you throw on a family Game Pass plan and people start learning about it and they start going, oh my God, $25 a month. I can have up to 5 people. I've got 3 kids at home, me and the wife, we can all have our own Game Pass. All I need is a couple of these devices and a couple TVs that we don't have a console that we can't currently afford. Oh my God, let's try it out. At the end of the day, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be one of those easy buys for a lot of people as they're shopping at your Targets, your Walmarts, etc. And then, like I said, in the East and elsewhere where cloud gaming is normal for them, where mobile gaming is normal for them, these devices really could take off. It'll just be one more thing, especially at the right price point, where people just say, why not try it? Why not try it? Let's see what we get out of this. So I think it's fantastic.
Hey, Pong, and don't forget, it has an Ethernet plug-in. You don't have to just go Wi-Fi. You can go
have to just go Wi-Fi. Correct, sir. So you will have that option. Yep. Exactly. So no, just a great opportunity. And again, Phil doesn't do this by accident. Phil doesn't forget that was on his shelf. That's not what happens. Phil doesn't take a picture talking about Fallout and just so happened, if you look at the picture, the device is actually turned towards the camera. So this is Phil up to his old tricks again. This is why we do like Phil. Phil's got a great sense of humor. He's down to earth and he does this kind of stuff. So I think we're going to hear about this sooner than later. That's why he did it. And that's why the Xbox Twitter account actually responded to him and said, hey, boss, what do we tell you about putting old prototype devices on your shelves when you take a picture? I mean, they're pretty much confirming that this is exactly what it is. So I'm looking forward to this reveal whenever they decide to do it.
Hey, Google's in trouble if this comes out.
Well, that was a very good take on this device, Pong Soul, as we figured you would. I'm curious to hear what Paul's going to say. It sounds like you took a lot of his talking points, but hey, that's what happened. Paul, well, give us your take on it, though, Paul. Maybe you'll come at it from a different view as well.
Well, and my thing is, and I was going to mention the whole East thing because they're not only is it because they're portable and stuff, but because they're into smaller. They don't have as much room as we do. So hey, if they could just plug it into their TV or whatever, their monitor, and boom, go, they're thrilled, And and I've said, Noof, you've heard me say this on Good Morning Xbox a lot. Going to the East, going to the Asia markets has been one of Phil's biggest focuses over the last couple of years. Trying to open up that market, and we're starting to see those fruits come to bear, and I think this is another step in that road, because Pong is right. There's lots of parts of, even people who live in certain cities and areas that this isn't going to do them, especially if they're dealing with Wi-Fi or wireless. It's not going to be that great for them yet. We're a ways out before coverage is universal for us, but there are a lot of countries in the world where they get great coverage wherever they are,
Right.
We're just too big. The land, we're just the landscape is too much at this time. But but again, this is something that if I had some friends who have kids or whatever, if I have friends who want to get into gaming, hey, here you go. Here's a controller. Here's a thing. Plug it in your TV. Go. There you go, Spider-Man. That's exactly right. I think it will be. I think it's going to be a really big thing over there. Um, so and I right now in my situation, I don't have a use for it, but I know plenty of people that do. You
Yeah.
know, and maybe I do. I could hook it up to my TV, the big projection system out in the living room, and play some of my
Hmm.
Xbox games out there instead
Yeah.
of sitting in my room and playing them. So yeah, I think it's a great thing. I hope it comes to fruition. Hopefully this season would be nice. You know,
Indeed, I think it's
and
closer than we think.
yeah, and I do think the $100 price point for it and one single controller would be a good spot. Yeah.
Huge. Sir X-Man, what do you got to say to all that, my friend?
I think it'll be about 120, 130. Because they're gonna eat the cost of the controller and the device.
Yep.
So that's about a good price range. But I think they're also because you can, use it to stream your Amazons, your Netflix and all that other stuff also with the device. That's gonna give Chromecast a run for its money. And you can play games on it. Oh man. And Google and Microsoft are not friends. So
That's right.
yeah, this is gonna be a battle when that comes out. It really is.
Well,
That's
Google's
pretty
already
much all it is.
stepping out of the gaming front, so I don't think
Right, they're stepping out of the gaming front, but they still have Chromecast. This thing gives Chromecast a run because I'm sure Microsoft will have Miracast built in too. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a battle for that. Plus, you can play games too. Oh, this is gonna be in it. I'm just waiting for the fight, dude.
It is. It's going to be. I think this is going to be the understatement. This is going to be bigger than people have expected. In
And
my
you got
perspective.
Amazon Fire Stick too, Noof. Oh
Right.
yeah.
Okay, because
Go ahead.
first of all, the target audience, right? Its target audience are not going to care that it's cloud. Okay, they're not really going to care that it's cloud. The hardcore people will still expect to have their consoles with all the bells and whistles, but like Pong alluded to, I think Paul, when it comes to families in a household where you want to have more than one device, this is huge. You could buy, at that price point, if you come in at under $120, I think you've nailed the price. It'll become more of an impulse buy as opposed to having to think about it or saving up money. Then you're going to get all these family plans. It's going to be obviously Game Pass oriented, and that's going to look very attractive in itself because if you tell a parent you can spend $100, get a controller, get this device, and now they've got access to hundreds of games out of the box, probably come with like at least a month subscription, maybe even more. It's small, it's sexy, which is great again for those markets, especially like in the Asian markets, which are notorious for hating on big fat consoles. They like those tiny, sleek, sophisticated little devices that are simple to hook up and use. So that's going to fill in the void there. And then with a lot of TVs now soon coming with the Xbox app and stuff built in.
Samsung.
I mean, Xbox wants to put its brand, it wants to put Game Pass everywhere. They are not kidding. They don't really care how you play anymore. They just want to know that you're playing and that you're buying into their ecosystem. Xbox came out to play, man. They are definitely swinging for the fences. They are changing the landscape of the gaming. This is going to be another step forward for them. And it's an easy, like I said, they're going to have to swallow some costs probably in the controller, but we know that they make good bank on those things. So if there's anything they can eat some cash on, would be a few extra controllers. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to make that back in a hurry with all the Game Pass subscriptions, and being that it is a cloud-based device, you're going to have to buy into that ecosystem. There's no other way around.
Plus, if you have an Xbox, just like with XCloud that I do, I'm actually able to console stream. So say you're in another room, you can console stream the games that you own already on your Xbox, and you can put it right on any TV. So there's two advantages. It's not just for Game Pass. You'll be able to cloud stream the game.
And they're going to be giving you the opportunity to buy games through xCloud here shortly as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's going to open up a whole nother opportunity on top of all this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I heard they are opening up. They are opening up where you're going to be able to play your games through xCloud for more people. So it'll be automatically connected instead of you having to go to console stream to the games in Game Pass. You'll be able to do everything unified.
And I was just thinking the nice thing for me is, like, my family lives primarily in California and I have friends in Texas. So if I'm going to go stay there for a week or two, it'd be nice to just be able to grab this thing, throw it in my
Pick it up and
suitcase,
go,
throw it in my
baby.
carry-on. And
Look at
then
that.
for when they're at work or doing stuff and I'm sitting
Mhm.
around the house, I can just plug this thing in and play away,
Yep. It's huge. And you got to think of from a production standpoint, this thing is most likely going to be easier and faster to produce than things than the console space is for Xbox.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
it's nearly future proof because it's a
Yep.
cloud-based technology. They don't have to worry about cost of processors, or they don't have to worry about graphic cards and all this stuff, because it's the cloud is basically going to supply you with the heavy lifting. This is just the delivery mechanism. Microsoft's got the books.
It's the same exact way you can play your XNS optimized games on your older Xboxes, because your older Xbox isn't doing the heavy work.
So there you go. So essentially this thing could market its own self for years.
Yep.
And never be sort of out of date, because that's the thing we all fear when we buy consoles. Eventually, they do start to come out of date, and they have, like right now, I can tell you, well, I love my Xbox One X, but I will say, like, man, when I boot that thing up now, and I'm watching my friends loading up well before me, when I have a Series X, but like a lot of my older games, I still keep on the One X because of storage reasons and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But when I go back and play games on that, and I got to sit there like 2 minutes waiting for shit to load, and I'm like, damn, this thing would have been done in like less than 30 seconds on my Series. Like, those little painful annoyances, I guess, first world
And
problems.
remember how fast the One X used to be for us? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I remember I've told the story before. I had to go back to my One X when my original Series X, the HDMI port fell
That's right.
inside the console. So yeah, going back was a serious, oh my God, this is painful moment, because you had no quick resume, no fast load. I mean, it was bad. It was really
it's everything. It's even like how fast Series X like rolls through menus or brings stuff up. It's not just the games. It's just little simplicities of life, so to speak. When you boot up the Series X, it just runs so flawlessly and so fast. Everything
The
almost
S boots up that
instantaneous.
fast too. The S
Right?
is fast just like that too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like Paul said, that little device, great little portable thing too. Like I said, you can basically pack it up in a bag, take it with you if you're traveling. As long as I can see you got a half decent internet connection, and in the next couple of years, like I said, we'll see even more advancements in internet technology and Wi-Fi signaling and all this sort of stuff. So I think like I said, they're setting themselves up for the future, and this is going to be a hot ticket item. I firmly believe if they nail the price, this thing will be a runaway hit.
And they can advertise, play the games that you own on your Xbox, on your whatever they're going to call it when it comes out. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be a big seller. You own these games, play it right there. And play the games that we have in Game Pass also. And plus watch your movies. All your streaming, what do you call it, subscriptions in one place. That's large.
It is. You can't deny it. It's coming. Any further thoughts on the little device? Okay, we'll move the needle because we're almost at the end of the show. We're gonna sticking with Phil Spencer and different things. Going to talk about what was the other one I had here. Let me see.
You talk about
topic
meta?
here. The meta,
Yes.
which I thought was kind of cool because, again, as we just mentioned, how Xbox wants to be everywhere. Well, boy, they are really covering their corners. If you guys are not aware, Xbox Cloud Gaming is coming to the Meta Oculus. It's not even called Oculus. How is it? What's it called? Meta. Is that what it is? Meta Oculus.
They still call it Oculus.
Yeah, it's Oculus because they just announced the Oculus Pro today. So
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's that supposed to be? $700?
$1,500.
You're fucking kidding me.
Nope, for the Pro.
Nope.
For the big boy.
$1,500. And that doesn't even include all the instruments you may need to buy to make it work for you.
Oh
So
my!
there you go.
When you
Oh,
buy
no,
this thing,
it's
you have
not. Yeah,
dollars
it's they
packing
did
game.
they did drop the Oculus, just so we're fair. It's
Right.
Meta Quest now. It's Meta
MetaQuest,
Right.
yes.
So they
MetaQuest.
dropped it back to what it was a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it comes with a pack-in game. It's called You're Fucking Now Broke Simulator.
We're learning from Sony. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
But
My bad.
you know, obviously, MetaQuest having Xbox Cloud Gaming on there, you know, it's not a huge thing, but it's something. I mean, the fact, like I said, it's more Xbox in more places, and with the Meta obviously rising in skyrocketing popularity, VR becoming, you know, bigger all the time. It seems like. And with PlayStation on the verge of launching PSVR 2, like I think it is sort of like, again, that next evolution, another step to get that Xbox brand recognition out there to market essentially. And if anybody's got a Meta Quest and you know, you watch Netflix and things in there, and it's really cool because you're thinking, okay, you're just watching a movie like everybody else. Well, yes and no. You are still watching it, but the fact is you can basically go into a Meta Quest and you can watch movies as if you're really in the theater. It really looks like you're watching a 120-foot screen. So can you imagine and thinking how cool this is to play your favorite games, but it looks like you're literally sitting in a theater playing them? I think that's kind of cool, to be honest with you.
Don't walk in
Hopefully it'll be
VR,
really,
people.
hopefully it'll be really cool if they do it like you do in the movie ones, where you can actually have your friends in your group with you, and they look like they're sitting in seats next to you, so they could be watching you play this game and hanging out
That
with
would
The
that would-
original
yeah.
Netflix on the 360. I missed that.
Yeah.
I missed
Mhm.
that so much. Me and my friends
Any-
used to
any
get
thoughts?
together and watch.
But I like the idea of that. The fact that
movies.
if I
Mhm.
wanted to, I could put the headset on and feel like I'm just me in the game without all the outside distractions. You know.
But I got a 70-inch TV. I'm good. I'm cool. I don't need that.
Yeah, I got a 70-inch TV too, and that's plenty big for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's fine if that's what you got. I've got a 32-inch monitor that I sit in front of, and but sometimes it would just be nice to have the full. I'm
Have
wondering
that
about
option.
my ability to eye track when it's all right there in front of my face
Mhm.
might actually be better than I can on my 32
Totally.
inch screen as far as following
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
or aiming things and stuff like that.
Well,
you
for
know?
people that can't actually get out to a movie theater and enjoy a big 60-foot screen, this is huge for them.
Yeah,
People that just don't like the social anxiety that comes with going out sometimes in public and all, you know,
or
the jury
in my case, it's just a matter of capability to get out on my own and go. Yeah.
capability. Exactly. So sit
Terrifier
there.
2 is coming to theaters, and I can't go see it. I want it to stream. Dude, tell them I want Terrifier 2. This is the game that's making people pass out and puke in the theater. I want to see it. Okay, I'm just
Oh
saying.
shit!
2.5 hours long, isn't this new
I
Terrifier?
knew there was
2.5
something
hours,
wrong
2.5
with
hours
him.
long.
I knew it.
With
I knew there was
Art the
something
Clown,
wrong with
baby.
you.
Art the Clown, man. It's
Oh
all
my
about it.
god!
Yeah, that first movie was pretty sick.
Yeah.
That guy is creepy as fuck.
I'm
I
still
know.
waiting for them to make Top Gun Maverick so you can just rent it. They still got it where it's buy only.
Mm-hmm.
You can't rent it still. I
No, it
want to
comes
rent it.
out-
I don't want
Comes
to
out
own
on
it.
Blu-ray next month, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah, they've kept it in the theater a long time, it seems like, probably because it's still fucking raking in the dough.
They
Yeah.
had it on
that's
digital
why, yeah.
sales still. I mean, you can still buy Disney, but I want to rent it. I don't want to own Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'll wait.
Well, I need to own it. I gotta get my 4K, baby.
Look at you. You got to get your 4K booby. What?
No, this is a big deal though. This is a big deal, Noof. Because it's not just xCloud, which is obviously what we are about here in the community, but this is Microsoft themselves. They're bringing Teams. They're bringing Dynamics 365, Azure Digital Twin. I mean, they're bringing everything to Meta, and I'm not even a VR guy until we get holodecks or until you can strap me in like the Matrix. I'm not interested in VR.
Yes, sir. Player one.
Right. That's the way I am. But I appreciate the fact they're pushing forward. And I don't like Meta. I don't like the lizard man Zuckerberg. I don't like what they stand for. But we can't sit back. You got to pull yourself out of your personal feelings and just look at this. This is two of the world's most powerful companies coming together and pushing forward or attempting to push forward in further along with VR. And again, you can balk at the $1,500 for the Meta Quest Pro. You can do all of that, but they're trying. And I give credit. I give credit to Sony for trying to get into the VR space, because we need companies like this to push forward, to ever have a chance that I can, in my old man age at about 90, plug myself into some Ready Player One action, right? Yep. So I appreciate what they're doing here, but just the fact that Meta and Microsoft came together to do this says a lot about where these companies are and about what Microsoft's goal is. And to the point of Xbox and xCloud and all that kind of stuff, like you've been talking about, Noof, when we were just talking about the streaming device, the xCloud streaming device, they are really in a moment where they are pushing into every single space possible to get the brand recognition out there, so that people start, when they see something, they go, oh, I bet you xCloud is on there, or I bet you Game Pass is available on there. That's what they really want at the end of the day. Whatever device you go and get, they eventually want to have access to their ecosystem.
Marketing, right?
Marketing. And you see this deal go down between two of the biggest companies in the world. You cannot discount it in any way, shape, or form. Even if you kind of balk at what Meta's pushing for or what Microsoft is pushing for, you can't discount when two companies like this come together with a shared interest. A lot of good things can come out of it. A lot of bad things can happen too, but a lot of great things can come out of it as well. So I think this is a huge partnership that we're going to be talking about down the road and seeing new things come out of. Yeah.
Well, from a meta standpoint,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, from a meta standpoint, their marketing ploy is play your favorite Xbox games now through Xbox app on Meta. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like that's a huge boost for them when they're doing marketing for that. And it's just like, so now I don't have to just sit here and play my virtual reality games. My kid can go in a 1-foot closet, play his game and essentially on a 120-foot screen. Which when you think about it, it's kind of crazy.
Well, believe it or not, Microsoft and Facebook, they actually get along. They have no beef with each other.
They don't.
For some reason, they are cool with each other, and that still shocks me to this day.
Yeah, they did the deal when Mixer went down, right? And they moved people over.
And I was just about to say that, and they say,
and they really ended up not doing much with that.
Right, because people don't notice there is a Facebook app on your Xbox that actually works, and a lot of people don't. It's been there since the 360. So, but it's on the Xbox One. You can log into Facebook and do your stuff, send your.
No, I'm good. I'd rather have a keyboard.
But I'm just saying, you do have the ability to access Facebook on there, but Microsoft gives you options. And I don't like Facebook anymore. I don't hardly use it anymore.
I got rid of it 8 years ago. So.
Yeah, I use Twitter more than anything and stuff like that. The only reason I keep Facebook, I got family on there. Every now and then I want to peek and see what's going on.
And as a side note to this too, I mean, Facebook today, after they announced this, they also announced they bought 3 VR devs. So they're moving into the game space here. They're really pushing this Quest stuff, and they went out and bought 3 devs today. Not the biggest names in the world, of course, but the Iron Man VR dev is one of them. I mean, they went out and got what did they get? Camouflage, Twisted Pixel, and Armature Studio. So they're making moves, and who better to partner with than Microsoft, one of the leaders in the gaming world, if you want to try to glean some knowledge and get some insight into the gaming space. It's a perfect partnership in a lot of different ways.
Do you think that's a possibility that Microsoft eventually buys or dedicates a studio to some VR content and then basically promotes it through them and essentially could add it to, say, like a Game Pass VR edition, essentially?
Sure. Man, could you imagine playing? Could you imagine playing Starfield in VR?
Yeah.
I think that's partially where they're headed, actually. And I've been saying that all along, that if they're going to make a deal, it's probably going to be with Meta or Quest at the time, Oculus.
It's either Meta or Valve, right, Paul?
Right.
Meta or Valve are the two obvious choices. Yeah.
Yep.
You can see.
Well, they've already got a bigger install base than PlayStation VR, which was around a lot longer. Like in the last 2 years, the Meta Quest or Oculus, whatever you want to call it, I mean, it exploded. It exploded in sales.
Well,
when it was $300,
And what I've said all along is Phil has said they're not going to do it till it's ready, and basically till it's ready for prime time. And I think they're getting to that point, but they weren't going to rush into it just because, which is the right thing to do.
I think you're going to start seeing the
They
Oculus
they
Quest.
they've been burned a lot, trying to get ahead of the game especially in some technologies like the what's it called, the thing they shipped with the Xbox One, the Kinect.
I love my Kinect.
And so I think they're doing this the right way. They're waiting to see if there's going to be a market for it. They're waiting to make sure they have the technology that can handle the stress, because PSVR 1, as decent as it wasn't that great.
I think you're going to start seeing when this really comes to fruition that the Oculus Quest will start being in the Microsoft store, where you can just order it from Microsoft also. So if you got like rewards points and things like that, build up enough and stuff like that, you can have it just sent right to you. No shipping charge, no nothing. No Amazon involved.
The Meta Quest, it handles the marketing and handles the hardware side, and Microsoft basically acts as a third party for these guys.
And look, we're in the VR now, just like you guys wanted.
Yeah.
Hey man, VR is pretty freaking cool. I played the golf games with Cerebral Paul, man, and that shit's freaking
Wait a minute, you've been playing golf with him? Oh, that mini golf game.
No, it's a mini golf game on the VR.
But like, this is the thing, and it's one of those technologies, one of those devices. You can describe it out the yin yang to people all you want, but until they actually strap the thing on their head and play, they never really get it. But trust me,
I was like that. I was exactly like that until I actually put my roommates on and went, "Holy crap!" It was a whole new experience, Especially if you introduce them to Vader Unleashed, because the first time Vader is standing above you, looking down at you, you're like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, the whole X-wing level in Battlefront sold me on PSVR. When I stepped inside the X-wing and I literally saw an asteroid go across my head that looked like it was about 20 miles long, and you can hear the rumble.
Oh, TIE Fighter, that one that they had out a few years ago.
Yeah, well, though, if you actually play the best one was in like I said, the very first Battlefront game had a one little mission, took you about 15 minutes. And it was just more like a tech demo than anything, but it was amazing. And it was just a single mission. You got in an X-wing fighter, you flew inside the cockpit, and you had to go up and you had to take out this stuff on one of the Star Destroyers, and it was just insane.
That EA game is that EA one, Starfighter, I think. What I forgot the name of it.
Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron
VR mode too.
It's VR mode on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's crazy.
I might have to get a VR just to try that out. I've been wanting to get a VR to play my racing games in VR. That might be cool. And
the one one that was on PSVR, it was amazing. It was that what's that the racing game that they had that was supposed to be big and it kind of died out. Drive Club. No, Drive Club VR.
Oh,
amazing. PSVR too. It was friggin' awesome, man.
A set of Corsairs in VR, and I hope they make the new Forza Motorsport VR on PC. That would be sick.
Yeah, it's really cool. Actually, sitting inside the car and looking actually around at the cockpit it's so amazing.
Well, it'd be cool because I got wheels, pedals, and shifters, dude. So that would be perfect for me.
And you're actually you're looking actually in the actual mirrors instead of like on a screen. Like it's just really cool.
Because I know where my shifter is. You never look down when you shift anyway. So as long as you know where your gears are and your pedals are, you're good to go. I don't need the screens anymore. That'd be sick, dude.
That would be sick. Well, any further thoughts on this stuff, guys?
Nope. It's getting close to my time to go nappy nap.
All right.
So
it's time to get everybody out of here. But before we go, real quick, a couple of quick questions with our stalwart extra panel members of Cletus Dunmore and Mr. Safehouse Sam. Do you guys have any?
Cletus Dunmore? That's his last name.
That is his last name. Yeah. That's always been his last name, believe it or not.
I didn't realize that. No, well, I've only known him. Wow.
No offense to Joe Dunmore, but yeah.
Noof, you surprise us every day, Noof.
Oh wow! I didn't realize he was related to Joe. That explains the inbreeding. Yeah.
Just took on a whole new meaning here.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see Noof versus the volcano.
Oh
Any
wow.
Not
questions
Joe.
for those guys? If not, we'll bring in Safe House to have a little, his thought on things. Safe House, look, I'm going to ask you, man. What do you think of all this cloud technology and stuff, man? Like, you impressed with it? Are you upset with it?
Again, let me tell you, first of all, let me get this straight and let me get this out of the way. First of all, it's amazing to have the one and the only Pong Soul up in here. Pong Soul, my brother, how you been? It's been a long time. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever done a podcast with you, sir. But let me tell you, you articulate well. You're a very smart guy, and I love the name Pong Soul. Yes, baby. Usually for me, I got my own podcast, and I call myself Pong Soul because I've been smoking the bong, baby. That's right. But you know what? This cloud shit, what the fuck is all that about? Like, seriously, like, I'm not really jiving with it. Like, it's not tangible. I feel like I'm in the fucking Smurf village or something. Like, I don't know where you're going with it all. And all I'm going to say this much. The first fucking time I boot up a game and shit start me lagging on me and fucking shit freezing up, I fucking done with that shit. That's not really for me. You think Nip Nukem old-fashioned? Baby, I fucking old-fashioned. I like a controller in my hands, and I like to know where my games is coming from. Know what I'm saying? Like, this fucking guys, they're making this shit to spy on us. That's all they're doing. Because they want your permission for this. They want your permission for that. They want your camera, your phone, your cell phone, your card, credit card, phone numbers. God damn it, they probably want to ask you what size your grandmama's underwear is. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to fucking know everything. So you know what I say to them? 2 fingers well up, baby. I'm like Siskel and pervert over here, baby. That's right. I'll give you 2 thumbs way up, fuck down. Shut the fuck up and get out of here, cock asses.
We got a super chat from Victor Click, $5. Appreciate it. He said, staying in topic. Safe House, what kind of VR game would you like? Would you want
God,
to
we're gonna get kicked off YouTube. Okay.
I was about to go there. He read my mind. I was about to ask him a question.
Let me tell you, I don't really even have to make a game because personally, they've already got my favorite kind of game out there, and it's called VR porn, baby. It's almost as good as being there. It's like you can almost touch it. You know what I'm saying? But the best part is though, it's almost right. It's right there in front of you. But the best part is it's clean sex, and you ain't gonna have to smell any stanky ass. You know what I'm saying? That's great. Yeah. That's what I love. You can get right up in there, but you never gotta question yourself if you're going down on a fillet of fish sandwich. It's all good. But the only problem is
I am never touching your VR headset or controllers. I'll tell you though.
No, it's probably you don't, because let me tell you, they're a different color white these days. Let me tell you that right now. Okay, all right, yeah. You guys complaining about stick drift. I'm complaining about stick. Yeah, that's right, stick. Fucking sticky. They just want to come out because they're picky. Yeah, I love VR porn, baby. That's where it's at. I don't even have to go to strip club anymore. I don't have to sit there and flick dollars at these ladies. But if I was going to make a game, I guarantee you it'd have lots of naked titties in it. I'll tell you that. Be like fucking, what do you call it, Duke Nukem Forever. Be like, be all sorts of shit flying at you. And but lots of titties in it. Gotta have lots of titties. Maybe a little ass once in a while. I like the little bubble butts. You know what I'm saying?
That's way too much cream sauce on the bed, man.
Cream
sauce. Lord, help me.
All right. Anything for Cletus before we go?
Cletus.
Yeah.
Got a question for you, buddy.
Okay.
Your buddy Safe House said something. I want to know what would you do with VR porn? Or what have you done with VR porn?
Well, he fiddly-diddly. Unfortunately, they don't make a lot of the pornos that I'm kind of into, you know what I'm saying? But at least with VR, you can do a lot of crazy stuff. You can play like card games, and you can play, do all sorts of crazy stuff. And I just need them to make. They need to make like a new farmer simulator for me, so that we can get out there and churn some butters. You know what I'm saying? To churn the butters, milking the cows, all that kind of stuff, and and showing Uncle Bert how he got to do sex education with cousin Teresa.
Strip
You'll
poker
be
VR, baby. Strip poker
you'll be
VR.
you'll be that Ghost Simulator's coming out on VR there.
Oh,
yeah.
you go simulator. You don't say.
Oh,
I want to play that. You
Lord.
go simulator. Yeah, does you have they got sheep fucker simulator too?
Yeah, and it has haptic feedback too. So adaptive
You
triggers.
would be
Yeah.
They
chasing the
got the
ghost
horny
with your
feedback. I like
slong
it.
out.
That.
Oh
I
my
like
God.
it when you push them PlayStation
Yeah,
controllers in your hand
it'll push back.
and they
It'll
fiddly
push
diddling
back.
around sometimes. No, it's really good. I like it. Yeah, I'm interested in VR, but it gets a little sweaty up in there sometimes. Your eyeball starts to sweat, and then your face mask starts to smell a little bit like pig vomit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so man, it's pretty good. Hopefully they have more games. They had that real cool one there a while back that the guys had me playing Xbox. I think it was called Dynamite Fishing or something. The guy looked
Oh
like
yeah.
he got in the boat and threw dynamite
I
over
heard
side
about
and
that.
blowing up all the fish. I like that. That was pretty fun, actually. I had to narrate that one, but yeah, they got to make a couple more VR games like me. Maybe like Bathtub Simulator or something like that.
There you go.
There you go, guys. Anyway, we're at the end of the show. Thank you so much for coming out and being with us tonight. Tell us, Ray, Victor Click, Jason Max. The list goes on. Spider-Man 356, Toolman, Draven Arrow, Casket Repair. The list goes on, guys. You guys are amazing. AB, Il Ray Tito, all these guys that showed up tonight. Saw these gaming. Lots of great people. Troyski. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting the show, even if you could only stay for a couple of minutes. And most importantly, supporting our guest, Mr. Pong Soul. Let's let everybody get out of here. And speaking of Pong, let people know what you got coming up, brother. Like I said, you're a well-traveled individual. You've got a couple of podcasts that you're on, and you do a lot of guest work from time to time. So where's your next stop at, my brother?
Yes, sir. No, thank you again, New, for the invite. It has been too long, brother. It's great to have you back in the community and doing podcasting. And again, honored to be here. Paul and Sir X-Men, awesome to be on the show with you guys as well. Of course, appreciate your different perspectives. That's what one of the best parts of podcasting, I think, is hearing other people and their thoughts. Chat, you all were absolutely amazing. All the regular faces out here. And again, as I always say, no matter what podcast you support, thank you for what you do, because without you all, this is nothing, man. This is just a bunch of dudes talking some BS, right? So thank you all for being here. We love you, and nothing but respect to all of you. Listen, I don't guest podcast as much, but this is a special week because I do have an extra couple of podcasts this week. Work and real life have taken over. But this week, I was on tonight, Thursday afternoon. It hasn't been announced yet, but if you're around this community, you probably can guess. Thursday afternoon, I'm going to wait for the host to announce it. I don't like spoiling things, but I will be on an extra show Thursday afternoon, so keep your eyes open for that. Thursday night, you know what it is. It's PM in the PM, Pong and Mav in the PM over on Fun Speculations channel. Be there every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. Sometimes we have guests. A lot of times it's just me and Mav kicking back and catching up on the week of news. So be there. It's been crazy for like the past 2 months. The news each week has just been insane. So be there Thursday night. Friday night, back on Fun Speculations channel for Xbox Ultimate. You know what it is there. Left, right, up, down, sideways. Lots of laughs like here. But we also talk a lot of news as well. So be there on Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time, Xbox Ultimate. Saturday mornings, living split screen with my brother from another, Steel Rain. It's him and I. It's 3+ hours. Most of the time it's 4 hours. We like to get the chat involved. We talk all the news. We're non-console eccentric at all, so we talk everything. Come on in. We start your mornings right, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time every Saturday. Last week we had to miss due to technical problems. We hate doing that because it's our only show, but we'll be back this week. going strong, live, raw, and uncut, like Steel likes to say. And then Saturday nights, it's the Shop Podcast on PTK Blam's channel, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. PTK, Fuzzy Belvedere, and myself, and we usually do have a guest. Drop in there, end your Saturday night with some great video game talk on the Shop Podcast. That's PTK Blam's channel. And then Tuesdays, Xbox Factor. I'm not there very often anymore. My schedule does not allow it. When I can, I'm there, but you know what it is. It's Double Barrel Gaming. It's Mr. Boomstick, one of the best in the community.
Buddy.
Get in there and watch Xbox Factor, All Good Things Green, every Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Otherwise, it is the golden age of gaming, people. So get out there, enjoy it, play what you love what you play, and I'm going to talk to you all real soon.
Amen. Well said, Pong. Thanks for that. And thanks for being a guest on the show. We've got to get you back here in the near future and
Anytime,
hopefully win some great topics coming up. Sir X-Man, let people know where they can catch up with you when you're not hanging out with us dweebs over here.
You'll catch me here with Noof at the same time. Hopefully, depending on my work schedule, because my work schedule might change, and it is what it is, everyone. But I will be here next week. You can catch me on the next podcast with Xbot 448 on Thursdays at 7 o'clock. I know that's a class with your show, Paul.
Hey, it happens. We got a lot of good content in this community.
I know, right? And that'll be about 7 o'clock on Thursday Central Time. And you can catch me on GRG with K Mega 45 on Fridays at 8 o'clock Central Time, shooting the breeze and talking shit. That's about it, everyone. Catch y'all next week.
All right. And Cerebral Paul, you're obviously a busy man most of the time, so let people know where they can catch up with you.
Okay, so first the podcast. Well, first you can find me on Twitter, Cerebral Paul 1. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube, it's Cerebral Paul. You can find me on Mondays on the Xbox Ambassador channel, 10 a.m. Pacific, where I do gaming with Cerebral Paul, where I just play games, but if something comes up that has to do with accessibility or anything, we talk about that. We go through some of that stuff. This next week, I will actually be playing Scorn, so join me on Monday, and I'm going to go through Scorn and give it a check out, look at the accessibility options they've added there. And then on Tuesdays, you can join me in Retro Renegades at 7. You join me here at 10 on Tuesdays, just like now. We're on a break right now, but I also do midweek gaming on Wednesday. Thursday, I do 4GQ TV. Friday and Saturday and Sunday, I sleep. Okay. So, yeah, I try to keep busy as well as doing some other things. But, yeah, so there you go.
Yes, he keeps it rolling. Cerebral Paul, guys, go show some support. And good, check out that Scorn stream. That should be a lot of fun. The game comes out in a couple of days. You guys always know where to find me right here on this particular channel, Tuesday night, same time. And if you haven't heard the news already, I'll be going back to Good Morning Xbox on November the 6th, Sunday morning, and I'll be taking the show back over to my channel. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. And I look forward to getting back there with the gang. It's all that stuff. And this week as well, Animated Evil, if you guys aren't familiar with him, he is doing a community game night. It's been a while since they've had one, but it should be a good one this weekend, Saturday night. I think it kicks off, I do believe, at around 4 o'clock. Actually, no, I think it's 2 o'clock Mountain Time.
Yeah, 4 o'clock Eastern usually.
Yeah, that's about average for him.
Yeah, 2 o'clock Mountain Time, 4 o'clock Eastern. They kick it off with Among Us, and they're going to follow that with some Gears 5. So if you're looking to have a little bit of multiplayer fun with a great community and some great guys, including Treacherous God, Animated Evil, and many more, I suggest you go check it out. It's real simple. All you got to do is jump in the open party on Xbox. Follow them on Twitter if you're not wary, because they'll give you the link and all the information you need to. So if you've never done a community game night before, you owe it to yourself to try one, because it's a lot of fun. Just make sure that you're, again, have the games downloaded and installed, and obviously, updated, because it's always frustrating. You get ready to roll and you figure out, oh crap, I've got another 30 gigabyte download or something like that. It kind of ruins it for you. Where you got to sit in the sidelines. But that's about it, guys. We'll see you back here again next Tuesday. Big thanks again to our amazing guest, Pong Soul, to my incredible panel. Wize Old Gamer couldn't be here. We hope that he's back again next week. He misses everybody to the chat. You guys are always awesome. Thank you for your unwavering support. You guys are the best. And again, we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.